y'all. Welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. Special shout out tonight to my grandson Colton, who is actually listening to my podcast for his very first time. Tonight's guest is Kristine Marie. For those of you on the East Coast that know her, it's such a delight and treat to have her on. She's a paranormal investigator, photographer, medium. I consider her a medium. She's very gifted. Jack of all trades, really.
Thank you.
Team leader in many, many ways. And I've got people popping on already, saying hi. I've got Carol, Greg. Hi, guys, and to all the listeners that are listening. Tonight's a really important podcast. I'm going to let Kristine tell you more about herself in a minute. But for those of you that follow on the paranormal channels, the paranormal discussions, the different paranormal groups. Hi, Sunder. Hi, Bunny Sugars. Looking beautiful, Kristine.
She's always beautiful. Thank you. I love my bunny.
But people are popping on for you already. There is such controversy going on right now in the paranormal world. And being female in the paranormal world, we felt like we needed to have a discussion about safety and harassment and what's important and what is no longer important. So to get to the discussion, Kristine, tell us more about yourself.
So I have pretty much always been into the spiritual and the metaphysical world with paranormal. As a very, very young child, I knew that spirit energy I just knew I could hear them at night, only in this one spot in my room for some reason. So I would just sleep in the hall to avoid it because it used to scare me so bad. My mom remembers, and she thought I was just terrifying myself, which maybe I was, but it stopped when we moved away from the cemeteries. So basically, Lorraine Warren sort of opened that, okay, no other people have these things that happen with them. And it made me feel like, no, I'm not crazy. Like, this is something. They happen more in my dreams. Spirits visit me in my dreams. I get weird messages like that don't make sense to me. But when I tell my friend, for example, my friend Joanne, about her father came to me in a dream, and it resonated with her hard. It didn't make sense to me, and I had never met him. So it was just strange to me. So basically, that's where I started getting into the paranormal with the Annabelle conventions. And, I met a lot of great people, and it just sort of encouraged me to continue to go to these events. More positive people than negative in this field. However, there are some pretty evil entities in life, as there is paranormal. But the light I see in some people, including you, Miss Julie, which is exactly why I even know who you are. I turned around at that convention and approached you, and I was like, I need to know. I need to know you. I can see the light in you. I can see the light in a lot of people, but you shine. And some of these people that I've made friends with are incredible. So I felt like it was necessary for us to talk about how positive we can be together and how far we can go along if we just work together. It's not about making money. We all have the same goals. We all believe in the same things. Like, why are we fighting? I don't know. So here we are.
Yes, we are.
I'm very glad to be here with you talking about all of this.
And I'm so glad you're here too. And thank you. My heart is so full. Linda says, hi. Hi, Linda. Hi, Greg. Greg says, you're right on the money. If you need my support, I'm with you. Thank you, Greg. Greg is very supportive in the paranormal industry. And, this message tonight is not to dog any groups. It's not to name any negative people's names. We're not calling anybody out on this podcast. I refuse to do that because they've already been called out and it's already happening. I don't need to be a part of that. My job is to uplift the community and bring the community together. It's kind of like, the one bad apple in the apple bunch ruins the whole bag of apples, and we refuse to let that light dim because there's a few bad people out there.
Yes. There's so much light still out there in the darkness. We just need to find the light. For
So
sure.
how would you start out doing like do you think this has always been there and it's just now coming to a surface, or do you think that with all of the fear politically and um there's just such a climate of fear, not just politics, but just with humankind in general right now? What do you think tripped the trigger for all this, or do you think it's always been there and we're just now coming to a surface?
I mean, I kind of think it's sort of something that's always been there. We just learn what is most important to us and what, I think it's always been there. It's just coming to a head now. It's
Mhm.
you know,
I think media has changed, and with more paranormal
absolutely.
groups coming onto the Facebook and Discord and the different sites like that, I think people are coming out of the closet as investigators. I think people are coming out of the closet as psychics and mediums.
Yep.
And I think that's opened up many, many competitive threads. And I think also I blame COVID a lot for the lockdown has given people a sense of, and I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this, entitlement and self-centeredness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like people sit behind a keyboard and they warrior, but they wouldn't
Yes.
stand up in person and say those same things.
No, well, a lot of these people are just, they have too much time on their hands, clearly. They're making fun of people who are working, we're out there, we're actively trying to pursue basically the same goals. So I don't understand where all this bashing is coming from. We should just work together more. We can accomplish so much more.
And I think sometimes it's to get viewers. I mean, Facebook operates and it feeds that system. It operates into so many likes and so much this to get paid. And there's some of us that don't give a shit about whether we're getting paid or not. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be honest. Here's my fuck count, Greg. Start my fuck count,
I'm in the
Greg.
negative with the amount of money I've spent on photography equipment.
Like it doesn't matter to me. I'm in it because I want to be in it. I'm not in it to get likes. I really think it's funny.
My friends, basically. There's another one, Mr. Haunted, Jimmy Pettenito. I go to these events and I'm buying their books and I'm buying people's things and I'm buying the magazine and I'm, I got a twisted doll from Mary Jo Chudley.
We don't come out ahead in these things, guys. I go into these things and I'm $500 in without my ticket and without my hotel bill.
Exactly. We're broke. This is our hobby. I'm spending my money on the people I love. I bought the most beautiful candles from Bunny and oils from Samaya, and you support your friends. It's not that hard. It doesn't cost that much.
No, no, it doesn't. Greg says a new awakening and recovery. Yes. Hi, Jim. Linda says we are living in too much stress, and we know how science has studied stress reactions. Absolutely. And fear is one of the first signs. I mean, fear increases exponentially as stress increases. And fear is normal in some things, but fear is not normal within this community unless you have fear at a site that you're investigating or something like that. That would be normal maybe, but Pin Paranormal says exactly. Oh, I love you. And Bunny's sending you hearts.
No, I've met and made the most incredible friends amongst all of these people. And that means more to me than anything. And Tony Spera and Wade and Chris, and Jimmy Pettenino and Dan and Rick Clark and all the original Nespar guys. They've been amazing to me since day one.
Yes.
The very first Paracon, Adam Begine, all these people are incredible. So I'm just trying to lean more on loving on the people that are loving everyone else and just ignoring all the negative, because in life as in death, they're the same. You know, I feel like that's how I refer to the energies of negative spirits. You were just a blank hole in life, you know?
Yep, we've talked about that. Shit people in life become shit spirits after
Yeah,
life, and
exactly.
it just
Really easy
doesn't.
to figure them out.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Becky says hi. Just got back from her first trip to Savannah. Ooh, that's on my bucket
Nice.
list,
That is,
Becky.
Georgia's on my bucket list for sure.
April, the psychic housewife. Hi, April.
Love
Hello. She
April.
says hello, beauties.
I love
I'm
her.
so
I
glad
love
she's joined
Kristen.
us.
Her and Michael made the most incredible magazine. I wouldn't even open mine. I should have bought two because I didn't even want to open it because the packaging is so absolutely
I
cool.
opened mine and kept my package.
I was like, nope, I'm gonna buy two so I can keep one sealed. But I want to read it too. I don't know.
I
Sorry.
got two for some reason, and I think it's because I ordered a back. I don't know how I ended up with two of the same issue, but I gave
That's
it to my
perfect.
friend, my little friend, his 15. Hi Bella, I'll give her a shout out. She may not be on. She watches it sometimes after the fact, but hi Bella, and I couldn't wait to give it to her because she doesn't have that, and I was like, oh, you got to see this magazine. This is so cool. The Ghosted
It is
magazine.
cool.
It's so
The
awesome.
the quality on the print work that they have too. It's not a cheaply put together magazine. You can tell that
No,
they
it's one
spent
of those
time.
fan ones. Like
Yeah,
I take it
I
to the
love it.
events
Yeah,
and
I
people
wanted
sign
to, but I
it.
didn't want to open it. It was I
I
need to
had three of them going at the Warren's Paracon, the Gettysburg
that's
Paracon. I
awesome.
had three magazines going, and I'm like trying to get signatures on all
Yeah,
three of them and get
yeah.
everybody in.
By the
It
time I
was
get done with my photos, I never get to buy the things that I want to buy and do the things I want to do because I just am so. I mean, I only had 2 seconds to talk to you at the event. You know,
right.
that's it's just wild. It's hours, but it goes by in a blink. And
Oh,
you know,
I know. And I went to go get a doll from Twisted Dolls, and it was gone right off the bat. And I'm like, oh,
I
my
will show
heart.
you.
Like I wanted it so bad, and I waited. Oh.
Tell me she's not the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Hi, Ashley. Oh, she's adorable. Can you get her
Mary
closer to the
Jo.
camera?
Mary Jo is incredible.
Look at that. Oh, she's scary, but she's so cool.
She lives next to the Annabelle that I won that was in the Warrens Museum.
Ah,
They're friends.
I bet they are. I bet they are. Mary Jo, I think it was the one that had tarot card. It was like a gypsy tarot doll. It was the most amazing doll, and it had something on its head, and I can't remember because I had only seen it that
I think
once,
it's
and
the
I walked.
steampunk one you're thinking of. It had like
Yes,
yeah, that was
she
pretty
was
cool.
so cool. But she's going to make me an
She was
Alice in
precious to
Wonderland,
me.
so it's going to be super special. The
Yeah,
Ouija
I
board.
love
Yes,
her
it
work.
had an Ouija board, and yes, it was
That's
super
really
cool.
cool. Yeah, no,
So what do we need to do? Mary
amazing.
Jo makes, Bunny says Mary Jo makes gorgeous dolls. Yes, she
She really
does.
does. Everything she does is like amazing. She's an incredible person, very talented.
What do we need to do? Is it that we're not checking out venues close enough? Is it that we're not checking out people close enough? Or is it, how do we protect ourselves? Like, do we need to wear body cams? Because
Yeah,
let me add this because it's my podcast and I don't want you to take any heat from this. People are getting accused of doing things within venues while they're on camera, and those things are not occurring because there's pressure to say that things are haunted or things are not haunted or things have demons because demons are the big explosion right now. Everything's got to have a demon in it. So, my place has a demon in it. And if you didn't say my place had a demon in it when you investigated it, then I'm going to basically blackmail you. And this
yeah,
goes far, far further. And this is not just one place, people. I'm not dogging one venue. There's a TV has made, and I really blame some of the TV shows for this. They built up so much of the demons in every place because that's what people want to see. That's
right.
where the money is. And places
But
want to sell tickets on that.
people want to see accuracy too, though. So
Yes, they
for
do.
me, if I don't find anything, I don't find anything. It wasn't meant, But you can find EVPs anywhere. You can go to just a cemetery. It's just a matter of the day and the spirits and whether they want to talk to you or not, or somebody in the room might not mix well with spirit energy. Depends. I feel like planetary alignment has a little bit to do with spirits
Weather,
communication.
barometric
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
It all does. And the person's energy coming in to investigate and how they come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in full force, brights and cameras and flash and everything. Who would want to? I would stay away from that too.
Right. And if you're calling them out and you're acting like an asshole, you're going to get an asshole reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe that.
No, definitely. I definitely do.
So what do we do? Like, how do we, there are so many female teams and that like makes me so happy. I'm a husband and wife
I
team.
do love that. Yeah.
But and that's great. But there's so many women getting out there and they're creating their own teams. And that's great too. Just like there's male teams, there should be female teams as well. How do you go in and be safe?
Sure that you're not ever really alone in a too far of an area where you don't have either a walkie to get a hold of somebody fast with some sort of, alert system, because it's a very sketchy world. And there's a lot of people who are stalking people for legitimately the most ridiculous reasons. So we just have to be careful. We have to look at male and female. Really,
right.
We have to be careful.
So do you think body cams is the answer, to keep a body cam on? So at least
you catch more evidence too if something happens. A lot of times we don't even notice half the evidence that we catch because you're so in the moment. And you see it after. So why not? Body cam, maybe. I mean, I'm not against carrying some mace around with me if I'm going walking somewhere
for sure.
in the park, some of the places we investigate, let's be honest. We'll climb into abandoned buildings that don't look like there's, standing up, or like that.
We call those urban jumps. We call those urban excursions and urban jumps. And, I've met some wild animals in there.
Yeah.
There's been some, I live in the Midwest. You jump some of these houses and you'll have what are those, what do they call them?
Those little boars, those little pigs.
The shake and bakes. Like we have the meth cookers that cook on the go.
Oh,
so
no,
like, you'll have those. Yeah, so we call them shake and bakes, and there'll be a few bottles, and you can tell like you'll see some spray cans and some bottles and shit around, and the Sudafed packets, and you're like going, oh shit, this was a shake and bake place. Like you don't know who's hanging out there, who's passed out with a needle.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah,
although some of the graffiti artists are artists, I will say, but yeah, you gotta be careful where you're stepping. Yep.
So mace or a stun gun or something, so that if you got something, if there's somebody that jumps and grabs you, and that can be even in the shut down personally owned facilities, because vagrants get in and there's always something. Ashley says, go with people you trust and have a buddy system. Yes, that's important, and there is no room for the bullshit in our community. We got to take care of each other. That's really big.
Ashley's got a really huge event. They're doing the main paranormal and horror in September. It literally looks like it's going to be so amazing. I'm so impressed with her lineup. If you haven't seen it yet,
it looks really good. That's Maine Paranormal, and you can get it's not Maine like MAIN, but the state Maine.
Oh yeah, that's a good
So go in and check them out. They've got a great gig going on in September, and you see that up in Seattle on the side road, the Shake and Bakes. Yeah, it's it's everywhere.
I'm not mature enough to not laugh at that name.
Well, that's what we call them here, because they're like pack and go meth labs, and they make them in like soda bottles. They're shaking and putting the shit in there to crystallize it in the soda bottles as they go. Linda says careful planning would help. Carrying anything electronic may interfere with your natural psychic senses. I get that. Some of us operate with both equipment and psychic. That doesn't throw me off, but that doesn't mean that that's not going to throw someone else off.
I think the inner ear vibration thing is the most annoying part of spirit energy coming to me. I I don't enjoy that at all. I don't know if that happens the same to everyone, but
I'll plug up. One of my ears will plug up and I'll get a buzz.
Yeah. It's like right before, like, okay, here it comes, So.
Going to be an amazing event.
Yeah,
April says,
really
yes,
is.
the main paranormal and horror con. Yeah, you got to check that out.
Amazing people are going to it. I'm actually excited. I'm getting some books. Got Johnny Zaffis. I can't wait. I really
His books are amazing. For those of you that are looking for paranormal books, John's books are always good. I got a whole bunch of them at the gosh, he was up in Kansas City at a paracon, and I bought the hell out of everything.
That's going to be me. I know. I already know. I already have like my lineup of Ghosted, where I'm going, what I'm buying, because I have to be fast because now I'm going to be shooting. So me and my kid are going to be using our cameras 90% of the time. And then I'm like, wait, I have no time to get everything I want to get,
Get it right off the bat. Well, and it's gone. It's gone. The good stuff sells out, people.
Yeah.
It sells out. I waited till the last day to buy a Get Haunted white hoodie. And I was like, why did I wait till the last day?
I'm glad you mentioned Get Haunted. I love them. They are incredible. Kaleigh and Rob and Sarah, they're a really great group there. They just freaked me out when they had that doll and the eyes moved. I didn't know the eyes moved, and I'm like, it's looking at me. Did Wade just sign in? I love him.
Somebody said hi to Wade, so I'm assuming he's on. So I just said hi. He didn't say hi yet, but I'm saying hi to him. Linda says, I recently heard that the buzz in the ear may be due to the hearing the noise of the planets and the stars. That noise is constant. Huh. Yes.
Maybe
Wade is on. Wade says, hello, my dear sweet friend.
I love him.
I love Wade too. I cannot say enough good things.
I know. He's such a good artist. The paintings it's just unbelievable, the talent.
And when he speaks to people that come to his shows, when you go to a Warren's museum, the haunted museum, any event that they're at, he speaks to everyone genuinely with his heart.
He really does. And he protects you too.
Yes.
He misted me with holy water. I cannot tell you how many times, and saged me as I was trying to get closer to Annabelle for better pictures.
He says, I'm hiding in the shadows. Come out of the shadows, Wade. Come out of the shadows. So, we look at the physical protection going in. I think checking the environment that you're going in, and saying this away from an investigation standpoint. Here, I'm excited about paracons. When we do investigations, we jump in, and those of us that are urban explorers too, or excursions and for those of you that don't know what that is, I'm not recommending that because I would get in trouble recommending that. But you basically, kind of either have a driver or leave your car running, and you see an abandoned place and you jump and you run into it with your camera going, and you run through it real fast and you're checking it out, but you don't touch anything. That's rule number one, because remember, it's not your property. You don't break down doors. You don't take anything because it's not yours. You're just videoing really quick. And if you release the footage, you never put the address. You can put the state. I don't even put cities because I don't want everybody doing that.
Yeah.
But when you do things like that, like, you have to check your environment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You don't know what is in these places.
What's there? Yeah, you said animals, And
what about hidden rooms, or what about the places you could go to you've paid you've paid money to rent the place, but you don't know that the owner is not there, or there's not somebody in there in a room.
Or like having cameras set up. That's happened before to somebody I know. And then their cameras were being moved. So your equipment would go off, and it was just because their cameras were moving around. They were watching them. So they're ruining the whole experience for people to investigate properly and get actual results when they're watching you investigate their house. Like, if they're that concerned about it, then they should just say they need to be there themselves.
Right. Or let you know up front. We went to one hotel, and it was not a paranormal build hotel. And we rented it on a Valentine's Day. We rented a room and we were the only ones there. And I asked about cameras and they said, well, we prefer you not to videotape. And I'm like, I paid for the room and I'll videotape when I want to videotape. But they let me know up front, you will be on videotape, not inside your hotel, your room, but in the halls, you will be being watched.
That's weird.
Because
at least they let you know.
It was a rebuilt hotel, remodeled for period times, and they had people get drunk and vandalize and take advantage of the place. And there were things that people could lift. So I videoed and I had Blink cameras set up. That didn't interfere, but they did disclose that. But I wonder if they would have disclosed that if I hadn't said cameras. So you got a whole bed and breakfast with multiple rooms to yourself and you're running around in God knows what.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah.
Would they have disclosed that? And so even that situation becomes uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And
Samaya says,
depending on who's watching you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Samaya says, hi. Pin Paranormal says, or watching on Ring cameras. Yeah, because rings are everywhere. So are blinks. Supernatural Inc. Miss Katie says, we always let the local police know before we're investigating.
That's smart.
That is smart, especially when you're doing things. Greg says that's fraud. I guess the owners, I don't know whether they have to disclose since they're the owners. I mean, I know it like in Missouri, I think there's some kind of law that if one person knows your recording of the two parties, that's all that we legally have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think out of fairness, that's only wise.
Yeah, they should have to disclose it for sure.
And then you get into, some of the owners or the teams that investigate a place all the time when you're there all the time. What about cleaning practices? Because, there are negative energies, and I am not one that calls everything a demon. I will not call everything a demon. Sometimes it's just what it is. It's just yucky spirits, negative energy. But if somebody's in there all the time, and we've seen those cases where paranormal teams or investigators or personalities are in someplace all the time, they get attachments. And after a while, they weird out and do some stupid shit.
That is true. Well, Conjuring House is a prime example of, I can't even fathom how everybody that worked there was dealing with any of that.
Right. The Conjuring House. Look at, I always use, because they've passed on, not David, Debbie and Mark, I think it was Mark Constantino. Like they were on, Ghost Adventurers several times as a psychic medium couple. And he ended up, they had a huge history of domestic abuse. And he ended up, it was murder-suicide.
That is terrifying.
And I always said, like, I'd watch her, and I was so enamored with her. Like, I would watch her, and I loved her style. She was very bizarre, but I loved her style of communicating, and I loved the way her psychic connection was really amazing. But you could just tell the minute she'd come on camera, there was something off with both of them.
I think it does affect you in a certain way, always having spirits come to you. You don't really get rest, especially when it's like, I get a lot of dream visits. So I feel like when I wake up, I'm still tired. I didn't, they don't leave you alone, basically. So it can make you kind of crazy after a while if you don't learn to separate your emotions from someone else's.
Well, yeah, lack of sleep, paranormal hangovers from doing investigations into the wee hours and being exhausted, having the drama within your own life. And these people that are creating drama are oftentimes on the edge themselves.
Yeah. I mean, like they said, energy it just transposes, so when you pass, if you were a good person in life, you're a good person in death. If you're a bad person in life, you're a bad energy in death. And,
right on. Yeah. Samaya
you can
says,
see the light in people.
No, it doesn't transmute into something better unless it's found peace. I love that you
Yeah,
don't call everything a demon. No, I have a story about that. Sometimes things are just cat shit.
true. Yeah,
Um, I had to clean myself once. I've told this story several times. I had a really bad cleaning on a person, and a lot of stuff was nasty, and it jumped off. And it was a few days later, and I do shower regularly, but I took a spiritual bath and was cleaning and actually salted down, and I kept smelling cat shit. And I'm like, well, I was smelling shit, not cat shit. And I kept thinking, God, is this like, have I got an attachment? Is something eking off of me? Like this is becoming an anime show right now. Like the
Mhm.
eking is coming out. And I washed again, and then a cat got out of the litter box that was sharing a room with me as I was taking a bath. And sometimes, and my joke is sometimes it's not demonic, sometimes it really is cat
It
shit.
really is just tactics.
It really is
Well,
cat shit. You can't
I
confuse the
do
two.
I do use Samaya's protection oils, and she's incredible. And Miss Bunny makes the most amazing smelling protection oils. And on top of the sage, even though people say sage doesn't work, it makes me feel better.
Well, and
Um,
that's what matters. That's what matters.
yeah,
Wade wants to know, Kristine, do you ever use digital camera? Often he uses them to show students the location of a spirit.
I have, but I feel like a lot of times when I feel that there's a spirit, I will just go crazy with the regular camera. It doesn't matter if it's digital or not.
Mhm.
And I usually get a lot of, the sparks, and you can see the energy. Um,
Mhm.
and really, even the phone cameras are pretty great. I mean,
Yeah, they
compared to
are.
how we used to have way back in the day investigating with my Canon G10, you can get incredible photos with cheap cameras. You really just have to know how to set it and know when to take the photo, really.
Mhm. I do the 3 shots in a row with my phone camera.
Yeah, I
And
love
sometimes
that.
I'll do more than three. I'll just sit there and click, 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 click.
Yeah,
And
burst
all of a sudden
shots.
you'll get something that came in and
Yeah,
drifted
yeah,
out.
way to do it. Absolutely. Um, that was a good question, Wade. I wonder if they say the Teslas show if there's like spirits in a cemetery, because I've never tried that. Does anybody own a Tesla that wants to test that theory out for us? Because that would be pretty cool. I would definitely like to do that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see the results of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use my usually for camera source. I mean, my husband's got a lot of equipment, different cameras and video things, and he uses that stuff. I'm usually trying to connect to things while he's snapping the pictures. And I know thermals are interesting, because you can hot and
Yeah.
cold spot things, and it'll move. And we have found things in the middle of floors that had tremendous heat signatures, and we're in the basement, and there's no pipes, and there's no reason for it, and there's a butt print in the middle of the floor, and you're like, that's a butt
Wild.
print. Like,
Yeah.
where did that butt print come from? Ashley says, oh my God, I saw a Tesla with a plow on the front today. It was like, what did I just see?
That's interesting.
Well, I mean, they're shaped like they could do that.
They are.
That
They're
that
like
would work.
garbage trucks in a weird way.
Wade says, God does not erase the emotions, mental awareness, and spiritual awareness when we transition. Your soul retains those learned vibrations in transition. So
You
that's good
know,
to know.
my grandmother passed. I did see like a fuzz lift from her body, but it lifted all straight across her body, not like in a little ball like you would imagine it did. It just her entire body, like an inch long fuzz. Yep, straight up. Right when she
Mhm.
passed, as her skin went, and I just knew she passed, and that was her soul. Um,
I have seen that as well. It almost looked like an aura lifting,
yes,
with
yes,
people when I've worked in the hospital and worked in home health, and it will linger until it's noticed sometimes, and I find that interesting too because going into home health and going into places where you have found someone that has passed, hospice workers and those kind of, we have seen that where you go to find them and they passed like overnight or within a couple hours of you coming to their house. You
and
will
the
see
aura
it.
is
It's
still
almost
there.
like it's still there and it hesitates. And as soon as you see the body or you see that person or that energy, then it lifts. It's like they're just waiting to make sure that, I
Somebody
don't know,
knows.
somebody knows or that you're okay even. I wonder sometimes if they're hanging around to make sure that the person who finds them is okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was at both my grandmother's deathbeds. But the first one I did see the aura. The second one she had already passed, but um, I, it's a hard thing to watch anybody you love, even if it's somebody you don't love, pass. Um, but it was like a light, cloudy, foggy type like mist that just sort of lifted up
Hmm.
as I saw like her skin sort of just sink, and I just knew she wasn't hurting anymore, and I felt peace.
Hmm.
Um, so
Linda says her Carl visited her 4 times from hospice before he died. I recognize how his frequency feels when this happened. Yeah, there's lots of stories about people, visiting and seeing that. And your hospice nurses see that a lot because, they're
yeah,
sitting with their clients at that time. Um, which what a
I'm too
beautiful
emotional to do
space.
that. I'd be crying all the time. I
I
can't.
it's
Could never
no,
do
I
that
don't I
job.
don't do death. I do after death, but I don't do death.
Yeah, I
Death
do
is
after
not,
death much better than death.
it's a whole thing. So back to being safe. We've talked about body cams, knowing your environment.
Yes.
People, we are very trusting as teams because, well, number one, I think we go into places that other people have investigated. You go into houses like the Conjuring House and those kind of places. You make the
Hmm.
assumption, and I'm not picking on the Conjuring House. That's just one we mentioned. Lots of places out there, psychiatric hospitals, tuberculosis hospitals, law enforcement facilities, prisons. We go into these places and we assume that there's not going to be any entrapment rooms or any place where somebody could lock us in.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't know. You never know.
We assume because every weekend it's booked and sometimes during the week it's booked that there's nobody waiting to get us.
Hmm.
Is that a wrong assumption?
I just think it's important to have multiple people. Not There's a lot of people who like to solo work, and I get it, but it's just not safe now to do that stuff. You need to have somebody standing outside, even, an outside crew and an inside crew looking out for yourselves for sure.
So, in the cases where you have a husband and wife team staying together every place you go,
I definitely
because
would.
taking out 2 people is going to be harder than taking out one person.
Hmm. Yeah. And then if
And
you
and
have 3 or more, you have walkies and you make sure you can contact each other immediately or
I
side
think
with.
that's a biggie. You've got, and I know a lot of people who investigate by themselves, and I'm forever saying, please don't go by yourself. Please don't
Because
go by yourself.
even just like wild animals out there with the places we're going, gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Especially
shake
if
and
you're
bake.
doing rural and yeah, you're shaking bakes in the big cities and
I'd
you're
shake it.
raccoons and birds,
Yeah. I'd be trying to pet the
rats.
raccoon.
Oh my God. Wade says, depending on the spiritual awareness, a soul can even show itself before a transition. Wow. No, I've not seen that.
Okay, my uncle, about 2 weeks before he passed, I had a dream, and he came to me, and in the dream, he was in a wheelchair, and I didn't know this, but at the end, he wasn't able to walk very well, and he was in a chair, and he stood up and hugged me, and it was like a goodbye, like he gave me a goodbye. So I do think it is possible
Hmm.
that they know ahead of time and that they say their goodbyes in their own way. Um, because I
And that's
found that
so
very
comforting to know. I love
yeah,
that.
I still, in these dreams that I have, I still see them to this day. So that's why I know they're visitations, because it's not, you forget your dream a couple hours after you wake up, but all
Sure.
these visits I still remember detailed. Um, so
That's so cool. Linda says, do you think that naturally clumsy people are just not in touch with their psychic awareness? That's a good question.
Possibly.
That's a good question. I don't know.
That's funny.
I mean, because when you get into the whole inner ear thing, and that
Yeah,
throws you off. I mean, when your
it
ears
does.
ring and it blocks and that sound shuts, there's a wobble there.
Yeah, it's definitely like that was the one thing I hated when I was younger, right when that happened. I knew it was coming and I would just get like, the odd part was it was always in this one area of this house. I would love to go back to that house again and investigate it now. Like if it ever goes for sale, I'm totally doing that. Um,
Hmm.
and I think it was basically above where the power outlet was.
Ah, so it very well could have been like flowing EMFs.
Yeah, because I
I
would sleep
mean,
in like I am a princess. I don't like to sleep on a floor ever. I would sleep on the floor in the hallway because it wouldn't happen in the hall. It would only happen in my room. Um, so I don't know. And I do know if you walk into a house, I can blindfold me. I can hear where the power is. I can
mhm.
sense. I can feel it.
It's funny you say that because I can always go to, I'll pick a closet and open it up and I'll be, there's the EMFs right there. Like,
Yeah,
there's that box.
yeah.
Miss Katie says, yes, make sure to always have cameras and let the local police know. And see, I never thought about that. We did a home investigation, and my husband and I do lots of home investigations. This was one that had been, everybody had moved out, and we had permission from the landowners in the house to actually go in there. And we had a sheriff's department or cops show up and argue with us, and it was a whole big thing about us being there, and we had permission, and make sure you have permission and make sure that you let people know if you're doing things. I don't always if I know the family's going to be there, I don't do that. But then you're getting into the whole thing. Does a family have weapons? Do they have something, and is there drug use in the home? Because you can screen out those questions, but just because
Yeah,
someone answers, no, I don't use drugs and my weapons are locked up, doesn't mean they actually are.
true. That is true.
And that's a whole thing. Mary Jo says that explains why I fall all the time when we're investigating. There is not one live where I haven't found oh, must have been fallen on camera.
I'm pretty
Uh,
clumsy. I have my moments.
Stan says hi. He says you just don't know going into a residential case, so never go alone. Oh gosh,
Mhm.
no,
Yep, definitely.
residential and alone don't go together well at all. Especially because not only are you dealing with drug use and paranoia and other issues, but mental health issues. You just don't want to put yourself in that situation. Um, it's 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 a whole thing. So, we're looking at checking out your location, not going alone, making sure that you have cameras on so that if somebody says you did something in their facility or you did something,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
just like a hotel or a BRB, I always take before pictures and after pictures so that if somebody says, oh, you left this, this, and this, I have a time-stamped camera showing that's not how I left something.
Yeah, I'm all about photographic evidence. We know this. Yeah.
Because there have been accusations made about facilities and people
Yeah,
damaging facilities when nothing was
absolutely.
damaged at all. But again, it's that whole claim, if you don't say what we want you to say about our place,
Yeah, right. If you don't
then
say
we're
it's
going to come
haunted,
at you.
yeah.
And I'm like you. I'm not going to say I found something if I didn't find something.
No, just didn't happen today. Sometimes it's
It
just
doesn't mean it's
in the
not haunted.
stars.
It just means they didn't talk to me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them are too bright lights, big city, too in there with flashing and big lights and trying to catch everything. And you get more activity when you're quiet and sort of just
Yes.
lingering around and not distracting the spirits.
Go sit in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go sit under a mirror. I mirrors freak me out. I've had this discussion
Scrying.
with I think
I did
Mary
that a
Jo,
lot
and
when I was younger. The scrying in the
but
mirror thing.
I hate that. Oh my God, I hate it. It terrifies me. I do it
I do
and I
it.
love it,
I haven't in a long
but I
time.
hate it. But I
Yeah,
hate it because
same.
that draw is just so freaky.
It
But
is.
just to
It
go
is.
sit under a mirror
Yep.
and have things come. Yeah, faking is the worst. I
Yeah,
don't know why we feel like we have to do that. We're not making names for ourselves by faking things, guys.
we're not.
And
I
I'm
don't
not saying
understand.
anybody on here is faking. That's not my point.
No, but I mean, some people, try and get views or whatever, but you'll get more views if you're honest. And,
Yeah.
I think less is more too. If you have a 20-person team in there, you got too much distraction going on.
Oh,
You're not going
shit.
to get, you're not going to get anything. They're going to leave you
No.
alone.
Well, that's overwhelming. Think about 20 people coming to your house at Christmas.
Yeah, I'd be
20
out.
people coming into their
Hell
place that
no.
they live.
No. Yeah, that's 17 people too many.
Yeah, they're not going to interact with you on a personal level when they're
No,
bombarded and um, can't handle the people that overdo it. No, you can't.
no,
Ashley
it
says
makes a
I've been
bad
to.
name for us.
It does. And
It
keeping it
does.
honest is what we definitely need to do. Ashley says I've been to places that are known for a lot of activity and nothing. I won't lie and say something did. No. Well, and there's so many people that have good solid evidence that show that there is something there. It just wasn't our night.
You know what
It's
I will
just
say? It was in 1995, and I didn't even have equipment but myself. The Tower of London was the strongest I've ever felt spirit energy on any. I would love to investigate. If anybody wanted to put a little team together just to go up and do that, I would love to investigate there because you could feel it. You could feel the energy. You could feel the spirits. I'd love to hear where people had the best experiences, and it doesn't have to be somewhere like that. But I haven't been to the Conjuring House yet. I will someday.
yeah, I
But the
haven't
Tower of
either.
London, incredible. Um, I haven't beat it yet. There hasn't been one place that has had more spirit energy since.
That's
So
crazy. And
I
and you
want to go
walk
back.
it sometimes it's not even, like I am just starting my course in bigger named places because I've always worked up until 3 years ago. I worked as a nurse and I was working 12 and 16-hour shifts, 5 and 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And so I didn't get to investigate. Home investigations and cemeteries were it for me. That's so, being free now and retired, I get to go where I want to go.
That
And
is
that's,
that bucket list. I'm going to be doing stuff like that when I retire.
yeah,
I'm going to
it's
go
it's
and
so
do it.
fun. And
Yep.
yet I put this out here. This is why I wanted to do this podcast tonight on this was because you think about things like that as you get older. I mean, when I was younger, oh hell yeah, I would have done an urban excursion and it
I'm
wouldn't.
so proud of myself for doing the ghost hunt in the Tower of London at
Oh
17.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
bring it on. But now I'm just kind of like, I don't want to go someplace where there's a chance that I could have something happen to me. I don't want
True.
somebody to accuse me of damaging something. I don't want somebody to accuse me of doing something and especially in the media. Not that I'm trying to make a name for myself, but damn, that's a big thing.
Or even like a physical thing like the catacombs. I'm a whole. I would love to do that, but it would panic me if it would come down on you or a
Right?
mine even. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if I could investigate like that.
in
Urban
super
houses,
small
yes, but
spaces, I'm not
no,
going to crawl through tunnels. You're
no,
not going to see me on my knees crawling through tunnels.
no.
And if
I'll
there's a
sleep in the
lot of
cemetery
bugs,
before I do any of that stuff.
a lot of bugs, I'm out. I
Oh
don't do bugs. I don't do
no.
bugs. We did a home investigation a while back, and it was full of rats. And
Oh my.
I mean, it was full of mice and rats. Like you can't imagine the mice and rats. Like there was a scurry, and the actual video that got us going there was rocking chair moving and some things like that. So we were intrigued. Well, we found out why the rocking chair literally moved across the floor. It was being carried
Oh
by
my god.
mice, and I've never seen this many mice and rats. And I'm sitting on this little stool, like with my feet up, and I'm terrified of things like that anyway. And this ball pit ball, like, little kids' bouncy ball pit balls went flying across the room. And we're on camera, and I literally stopped and I said to my husband, I said, tell me that was not like a spirit, right? And he's like, it was a huge rat. And I'm like, now I'm even more terrified because it's
You're
like
like,
I
tell me it
can't.
was a spirit. Tell me it was a
I
spirit.
oh my God. It was huge. It was like something out of the movie Ben.
Out.
It was
No,
like the
you would
whole
see
house
me
was moving.
flying. Out. No,
Oh,
I don't do snakes. I don't do rats. I'm okay with
it's
spiders. I don't know.
no bugs. No crunchy bugs, no slimy bugs.
Cheap.
I don't do bugs. Like if something hits my skin and I feel it, it's terrible. It's terrible. Um that's funny the things we have, clowns and bugs and yeah, the whole thing.
I've
Um
literally made friends with a lot of clowns now. If you've never seen the Paranormal Cirque, you have to go see them. They are incredible. I wouldn't have thought that because I was always afraid of them growing up. And now I have friends that are clowns.
oh no, clowns freak me out. I don't know.
I know. I've got a couple of them that are friends. It's wild. I wouldn't have thought that.
Hmm. Linda wants to know, do you do remote viewing?
Um, a lot of my spirit visits come to me in my dreams, and I do have a lot of repetitive dreams where it's actually like catastrophe type things. I had one where there was this tornado for years and years and years, and honestly, the tornado that happened in Springfield a few years back was the same path of the dream that I had the tornado. Like I have dreams of this bridge, the South End Bridge being out, and I have dreams of um like catastrophe dreams, which is very strange. I don't know if that's necessarily remote viewing per se, but they have happened a few times where my
Mhm.
dreams have come true. Um so I don't know.
Premonition and remote.
Yeah, yeah.
Greg says, I lost it. Hang on. My screen looks like
The
ant poop. I'm on
catacombs.
my phone, so I got to go back and find it.
It says
Greg
in
says,
old Rome, I was in the catacombs on, I can't read that, a panway and got lost my tour group.
oh
That's
shit,
terrifying.
that would be
Oh
horrible.
my God.
Did they come back and
Oh
get
my
you? I
God. You
need,
just
I
gave me
obviously
anxiety
you
in
came
the
back.
catacombs.
So
It's like in an elevator. Like, no. Yeah, you obviously were found. So that's very great. But
we know
wow.
that. It ended well. Katie says, yeah, it's crazy with rodents. Had a home case owner, had a home case. The owner had a snake running about. Yeah, my snakes are all locked up. One time I had one loose. It was loose for 3 months. That was scary. So I can't
I
even
would be.
imagine like how that would go because my daughter was sitting in the chair next to the fireplace and she was eating a sandwich and the snake came out of the fireplace vent and was like hanging
God.
down over her shoulder. And I'm like, you need to just sit there. Just sit there. I'm going to grab my snake's name was Pookie. I said, you need
I
to
would
sit there
literally die.
and
I would
don't
have died.
move. And she's like, what? I'm like, Pookie's coming over your left shoulder.
Oh,
Don't
but
move. And I had to
Pookie.
get up and Pookie, Garfield's teddy bear, Pookie. His name was Pookie. He was a cool snake. And he was gone he was gone for 3 months during an ice freeze. Like we had no power for 5 days. And it was like a whole traumatic event.
He was
And,
probably in
and
your attic where it was warm.
he went someplace because he was all
They're
dusty and he was
smart.
really nasty,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
survived.
Oh my
Cave
God.
cricket. Oh God, no. Cave crickets. No. Nope.
Cave crickets. Right?
No.
Like spirits don't scare me as much as some of these bugs and
Oh,
rodents do,
oh shit,
for
no.
sure.
No, the dead and even negative things don't scare me as bad as
Yep.
bugs. Like bugs are terrifying. Bugs are just and you get one on you in an
Mosquitoes.
investigation and then all night you know you got bugs
Oh,
crawling on you. It
you
just
feel like you're getting touched. It's the worst.
fucks up a whole
No.
investigation.
Yeah, they do.
It's terrible. So, okay, so what else do we need to cover on this? I feel like, teamwork.
Working together more. It's not about making money. I'm so sad the Warrens aren't having a paracon this year. I hope they have one next year because it's my very favorite to shoot. But I would like to see more people work together instead of fighting about events or who's having what or whose would be better. They can all be awesome.
Well, and here's the thing, and I've seen this being put out there too, and I'm just going to say this for the record. My beliefs don't have to be like your beliefs for us to work
Yeah,
together.
yeah, absolutely.
There are people who absolutely don't follow the Warrens, and that's their belief. That's okay.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean you can't come to a paracon and see the coolness and see the things.
Yeah,
That
there's
doesn't
so
mean
many
we
other
can't
vendors. It's not just
share
that one thing.
experiences.
Yeah,
If we all believe the same, we would never move out of our niche to consider other ideas and other views. Just like
true.
those of us that support like the Warrens and the haunted museums. There's a lot of people who are very skeptical of any kind of
Yeah,
haunted museum. You
absolutely.
don't have to like that kind of stuff to come to a paracon and meet other people, because not everybody at that paracon is exactly the same.
I had the best experience with some of the most beautiful women at the Warren's Paracon.
Oh
I
my
had sent
gosh.
you some of those modeling photos. Only three of those ladies are actual models, and they all looked literally incredible, and they all
They
just
look
flowed
so
together.
good.
It was so
Oh,
fun. It was such a beautiful thing. Women working together, really
well,
very
how many
empowering.
hugs? How many hugs did you get from people you didn't even know?
Mm.
Like, I mean, I walked up to the Get Haunted team and Sarah and Danny and
Yeah,
all of them come running over and they were so happy. Just the
Dave
vibes were so much.
Shelton knew who I was, and I was like, "You're the celebrity," and he called. So he was like, "You're Kristine Marie." So I was like, "You're the first like celebrity to recognize me." Um, yeah, I think a lot of people are very big on following. I felt like I knew you from instant, so I don't know if I had just seen you on or what, but
I
I
don't know.
immediately, you saw me turn. I immediately turned
Yeah, you
around.
did.
You captivated me,
It,
and it takes a lot to captivate me because you see me, I'm all over the place like ADD nut.
well, you
Uh,
have to be to capture your photographs. You're like, you
I
have to be
do
squirrel, like,
everywhere,
100
everywhere.
places a minute.
Yeah,
Ashley points out you don't have to like people to be a civil human being. Thank you,
it's
Ashley.
so hard.
Point was
And
spot
you don't
on.
have to spend money to support your friends, but you can just invite people to their event. Just it's a simple couple of clicks.
Yeah.
I spend a little bit of money here and there supporting my friends, buying their books and whatever because I love them, and they lift me up and I lift them up, and it's such a great thing that the negativity it's just not even something that's worrisome because there's so much more positive.
Oh yeah. And these people will take time. Most of these people will take time to sit and talk to you as a human being, and getting
Mhm.
to know these people outside of the celebrities and outside of, um,
There's some pretty down to earth celebrities that we did meet,
yeah,
though. I
there
was very
are.
surprised.
The guy had a
Um,
great conversation with Ryan about
I
his
love them.
rehab, and it was such a heartfelt conversation.
I fangirled over meeting him, so I was like super excited
I
when he
was just
added
like,
me on
his story
Facebook.
was beautiful.
I was like, right, you all added me on Facebook. Um,
Oh, you
Michael
know,
Berryman was so cool. Mark Pellegrino and Jim Beaver, they just were all like Angelina, my daughter, was her assistant. She was so sweet to her. I was very surprised how Jim Crut, he was cool. I don't know if you saw
some of
him.
these
He was
people are just down to earth, regular
they
fucking
really
humans.
are.
And
Yeah,
they'll
they
talk to
really
you
are.
about their stuff. I mean, they'll talk to
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
share their stories. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, spending money's great. I'm the first one that's going to be in line buying
No.
cool merch and having fun. But those of us that vend as well, we're there to talk to you. Like, we love to hear your stories and we love talking to people and getting to know people.
I've
Hey,
made the best
Russell.
connections through
Russell
these
says,
pairs.
hi, Kristine.
Hi. How are
Um,
you?
so safety is a big thing.
Mhm.
Going in groups, I always let people know. And my son thinks it's the most stupid thing, but I will tell him where I'm going
That's
to
smart.
investigate. And because if something happens to me and Chris, somebody knows where we are, you know?
A
Like,
hundred mile ride.
it's a good idea to let people know
Yes.
where you're going. We're all human. A title shouldn't matter. Be humble. Absolutely. That's very
Mhm.
true. I had this experience and I feel like I can share this because it's not, thank God, it's not a haunt place where people go. So we're not naming names, but it's a situation that really truly, along with what I'm reading now with all of the drama, high drama things with team members going in places and things happening. When I was in home health, I went to this place, and as home health nurses, we go in and, to people's homes unscreened. I mean, there's the list of questions that we ask for insurance purposes, but that's all you do. You don't know the location of the place. You don't ask if the floorboards are rotten. You don't ask if there's a roof. You don't ask those kind of questions. We go. And I went into this house that was being remodeled, and it was an elderly lady who needed catheter care. Um, and she was bedridden, and her son was a middle-aged son, single, who was remodeling this historical house. And I had been there once, and I can't remember what he was doing the first time I went in there, but the door was unlocked. There were notes to get me to follow where I needed to go for her intake and all of that kind of thing. The second time I went there, he was there, and he said, "Would you like to tour the house?" Now, this was probably 10, 15, 14 years ago. And I was kind of fearless then, and I'm like, sure, I want to tour your house, never thinking in home health that something was going to happen to me. And he took me upstairs to the attic, and the attic was actually, they had towers on the house, and the attic actually had the slave irons still, the shackles still on the walls.
Oh my God.
And the vibration was horrible. I'm just going to tell you, the vibration was horrible. So then he took me to one of the tower rooms, and besides the must and the black mold and the things that you would expect in a house that's that old, that's not had good roofing and things like that, it was bad. But the energy in it was really bad. And he goes, "Now," he said, you think this is all intense? I want to show you this place." He goes, "Follow me," and he takes me down to what would have been the basement area. And it was a chamber, and I say a chamber that was a step down room outside of where the mother stayed. And he goes, "Go in and look at it." And my senses,
Nope.
spidey senses were tingling already. He
Call
opens
it
the door.
Spidey sense.
My spidey senses.
Yeah.
And there was a an up high window that was very small, like seriously 6 inches by 6 inches, maybe 10 by 10. Why would you put a window like that in a concrete room? It was just above ground to let a little light in. There was a drain in the middle of the floor. The whole room was concrete. The floor was not. The floor was rocked. And there was a step going down into this, and on the walls were new irons.
Oh my God.
Like arm level and leg level irons.
That is terrifying.
And he goes, "You need to step in to see what it feels like." And I bolted. Like,
yeah,
I don't run. For those of you guys that have seen me in action, I don't run. I am not athletic. I fucking bolted, and I ran to the car. And I went by, like, this was 30 miles out of town, almost an hour out of where I live. I immediately called my supervisor and said, "I will not be going back there." And she goes, "Oh no, he's just off. He's like, autistic, and he doesn't have any friends, but he's just awkward." He's like, I'm like, "Then good, you can go back yourself from here on out." And I
Yeah,
never
no.
went back there. And I took a ride up.
To your gut. Yep.
These things
That's
can happen.
terrifying.
I'm reading
absolutely.
about these rooms and houses, and I'm reading about these places, and I'm thinking, shit, that could have been me. Like,
Yeah,
I
easily.
could have never left that place.
Yeah, it does happen. It's very scary. We have to be very diligent about where we're going and listen to your spidey senses. I love that you call it that, because I call it that too.
It's just another thing. So as females, and I'm not saying that males are going to be the issue to solve the problem, because this could happen to males too. I'm just
Yeah.
happen to be a female, and it's my podcast, so I'm bringing up females.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to be so cautious of our surroundings.
Absolutely. And listen to your gut. It's very important that you listen to that instinct. It's there for a reason.
And with people being fearful and negative, there are more chances now of people, with institutions not being funded, with the
Oh.
mentally ill being literally turned out into the streets as they have been for the last 20 years. You don't know what you're getting into.
No, you really don't.
And Greg says he can feel me through my eyes. I'm pretty intense tonight. No, but it's a pretty scary thing. And I think, I know Christina
That's
and her
terrifying. I
Kristine and her team have definitely been rung through the ringer. Nobody
Yeah,
needs to go through any of that.
I've been threatened, harassed, and whole pages
Restraining
made
orders at
make fun
work.
of us. Yeah, trespassing order at my work. Yeah, I can't get a restraining order because I didn't date that person, thank the Lord. But if he violates the trespassing, I can get a restraining order. It's just unbelievable that it even comes down to that. Just why? Like, why be like that? I don't understand. Leave, grow on your own, or if you can't grow with others, leave people alone. It's really not that hard.
Right. But the big thing is, when you're a team and you're going someplace, we need to start checking places out. We need to make
Mhm.
sure that we're safe. We need to make sure that the teams we investigate with, that we're paying money for, are safe.
And vetting people you add on Facebook, I make sure that they actually have photos and they're not just cartoon characters and people that are just. I'm constantly getting ads from, I have no idea who they are, but people are trying to get into your information that don't want to show their face. Why?
And you posted that on Facebook, and seriously, I just was an ad person. And
No.
now I'm like, I have been so cautious in who I add, and I'm still like deleting people because I've had
Yeah.
horrible experiences,
Yeah,
horrible,
I'm just
with people
vetting
coming
people.
after me from other teams.
Yeah. So if I messaged, a couple of my good friends like Ariel, I say, hey, you have this person. Do you know him? And no? Okay, well, I'm not adding them.
It's
I got to
smart
know you. I've met you, you know?
because it's not all about numbers anymore.
No, you got to be safe. You got to know who you're talking to and who's getting your information, especially.
It's a big thing, and it's a scary thing. Like know who you're, because people can find out your location from Facebook.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, if you're saying you're, like me, like I'm saying all these events I'm going to and doing, like, granted, they're public events, but it's still a very dangerous thing if they have people who are enemies. So you have to, I tread light, so I do actually have a few, I guess, but getting there. I don't know. You can't rise without pissing a few people off, I guess.
And
I
that's very true too. And
I
it's
just keep
now to the
rising.
point where when you associate with one group, another group gets mad.
Yeah, that is very true, which is ridiculous. We should be able to work together. We're not in kindergarten. Um,
Stay out of the drama.
yeah, absolutely.
One of the Buddhist teachings is nothing is done to you personally until you take it personally. So,
Yeah,
I don't necessarily agree. I think when people are harassing you in your workplace and things are happening like that, I think that's a
crazy.
personal experience. But I think because somebody says something as a keyboard warrior, we
Hmm.
we take offense. Quit taking offense. Scroll on.
Yeah, yeah. Threaten someone else because I don't give a shit what you have to say. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you're not
Yeah.
one of my friends, I don't care. The right
I
people
think,
care.
yeah. Don't give a shit what other people are thinking about the work that you're doing.
Yep.
Don't let other people outshine your shine or take your shine away from you.
I love
I
what I'm
think
doing. This is fun for us. Me and Kaleigh are bonding. We're having a great time. We're making a lot of amazing connections and networking, and it's incredible.
that's what it's all about, is the fun
Yep.
experience.
Yeah, really, it's been amazing. So the good outweighs the bad. I'm just staying in the light.
Yeah, and we all need to. So, when you go back to your Facebook pages and you have the keyboard warriors or the preachers that are damning you to hell or whatever it is that you've got going on, because I've had everything
Yep.
within the last couple weeks. Just scroll on.
Keep scrolling.
It's not
Just
it's not
block
your
them. Block
message.
is so beautiful. I love the block button. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's that's a way of protecting yourself too, because you're not letting yourself get angry over a situation that's not even about you.
You just consider the source of where it's coming from. And if it's coming from someone I genuinely care about, if somebody I considered a very close confidant or a friend was saying something awful about me, I would take it personally. But somebody who
But they're
doesn't
not going
know
to do it
me,
that way. They're not going to do it that way. They're
yeah,
going to tell you to your face. Your friends are going to go, "You were a real bitch
yeah,
today."
exactly. They
They're not
are
going to
not afraid to
post,
tell me.
"Christine
Totally
was a
tell me.
bitch today" on
Yeah.
Facebook. They're not going to say that.
Well, my close friends will. But yeah,
So, don't take that personal, and remember, the more negative thoughts and words and deeds that we do, the more negative and darkness we create.
yeah, it just comes back. I really do believe in karma. So sometimes you just got to sit back and let karma. And sometimes you get front row seats to it. You know, you can have your popcorn and just watch.
Yeah, but don't take part in it, and
No,
and don't let the assholes that are out there ruin your shine on a good day.
yeah, exactly. The light, let the light outweigh the bad. There's more light in
Um,
the darkness.
we have to stay positive. We have to stay healthy. We have to stay
Yep.
clean. And I'm not talking clean and sober. I'm talking clean as in spiritually clean.
Yeah,
We have to
I
know
agree.
where we're at. That's so important.
Because you
And
never
and
know from a day to day basis where what's going to happen, who we're going to lose, who we're going to have in the next day. It could be any day. So I always tell people that I love them. They all know, including
yep.
you.
I
They
love
all
you
know.
too. Like we just, and see, this is discernment. Yes, discernment is very important. This is
Mhm.
what I love about paracons and things like that. Over half the people that I have on my podcast, I have met through paracons or
Yeah,
metaphysical events. I would not have met these amazing souls, amazing people. I can't even list them. Tonight I've had April. April's been on my pod. I've had Mary Jo, Wade. I
love
love
Mary.
Wade.
Me
You. I
too.
mean, just like you guys are so
It's a great group of
they have,
people. It really is.
yeah. And I
It is
never
like a
would have met him if I
parafamily.
hadn't have stepped out. So step out
Hmm.
of your box and go meet some really cool people, even if they don't all believe the same way you believe. Take that
Learn.
chance, because the
We can learn from
friendships
each
that you're
other.
going, yeah, the learning and friendship is so positive. And
Absolutely.
I hope y'all have gotten something from tonight.
It was very
Anything you want
informative,
to say?
I think.
I think people need to know these things.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
What final last words for tonight's pod, Kristine? How can they find you? How can they find your photography?
Kristine Marie Photography on Facebook. You can find me. I always am tagging New England Society for Psychic Research. I love the Warrens. I always have. Monster Expo, the main paranormal and horror, the original Paracon. I support all of my friends. I will be at all those shows this year. So you can see our ads. I'll continue to advertise for them because I think it's incredible. Everybody's doing such incredible things out there, and I just can't wait to be a part of it.
Hang on. It just got pulled. Did you see the night bat? Something.
Oh, Night Bat Per Michelle. Oh, and Michelle Allen and
Okay, she said hi, and then all of a sudden
Melissa
the
Vale.
comment went down, so I don't know where it went. But I was going to say hi, and I missed who
Sorry.
it was from. And she said she finally made it at the last minute. She can go back and watch it. It's okay.
Michelle, yeah. Well, I'm glad. I did see a lot of people pop in on the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, Russell. It was a fun show.
It was
Greg
fun.
says it's love and hugs and an amazing show as usual. And if we need to, and we want to, night bat, moderators hate me. No, it's StreamYard. It's not moderator. StreamYard is a bitch, and I'm on cell phones and things are dropping. It's all okay. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Linda says, nice to meet you, Kristine. Any last
Absolutely.
questions?
No, it was
Oh,
great to
no,
see
not
you.
bad. It's okay if you curse. My moderator just got kicked out too. So No, you can curse. I have a fuck count on my show, so it's all good.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I already swore a few times.
yeah, no, yeah. I'll say 0 fucks, and then somebody will post
No
3.
fuck.
You've already said 3 tonight. You can't be at
Yeah.
0. Thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Kristine, for the love, for the
Anytime.
friendship. I
Absolutely
got
anytime.
you.
Same.
Um,
We can do this again sometime. It was great.
yes, we need to get together after our Paracon. Are you going to be at Rock Island?
Yeah. Is that the Illinois one?
Yes.
It must be. Yeah. I've looked at it. I'm not really sure yet about that one, but I will
Mm,
inbox you all the ones that I would love to be able to go to that one, but I'm
please.
not sure yet. I know. I
Oh,
know. I really, really, really need them to have another Paracon though, because I just love the Warrens
I was
Paracon.
going to say they're going to be there. Get
I
Haunted's going to
know.
be there.
You know, I love Get
There's
Haunted too.
Patty is going to be doing
Patty.
readings. So I think she's got a midnight seance. She usually
She
does
is
those.
such a beautiful person to photograph. Oh my God, she is so photogenic.
There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff going on. Y'all need to come out to that one. And then my next gig
I will
is
definitely let you know.
Metaphysical and Mystic is having an Conway, Arkansas, the last weekend, and you've got to go there. And it's going to be amazing. Conway, Arkansas is going to be the place, the happening place. They've got everything from God, I can't talk, tattoo artists. And it's just fun. They're doing flash. They've got everything. Nightbat says, "Hey, we all got to have each other's backs. No time for egos. We're all just trying to have fun with what we are passionate about." Amen.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's been
Well said.
many years I've known her too. I met her at one of the very first Mohegan Sun Paracons. She drove all the way from California to go to that.
What?
So, yeah, she sure did.
Tad toes.
She's
Yes. They're making fun of me. Yes, they're going to have tad toe artists there too.
yes, you can tattoo your toe.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. No, no. Love to y'all. Thank you. Have a safe week. Have a blessed week.
Bless you. It was great to see you.
I love you, girl. Take it
Love
easy, and
you.
thank y'all for joining us. See us tomorrow. No, you're not seeing us
See
tomorrow.
us
See us
tomorrow.
next week. I'm
See
so
us
tired.
soon. We can do this
See you
again for
soon.
sure. See us
Night,
soon.
everybody.